of the game.
Pendle's with us this morning, Marty. Here he
Pendles.
is.
How'd you pull up, mate?
Yeah, I feel a lot better today. I was pretty sore Saturday and tired, but yeah, it was funny after the game walking back. I said, you sort of miss this feeling. I know what the next 24 hours involves and how sore I'll be, but I've missed it. It was great to be back in front of our fans and back at the MCG, and I think everyone just in general has enjoyed footy being back on the screens.
It's been a really great opening round. Regardless of the results, I just feel like we all wanted it to start this year.
Oh, absolutely. I was so keen for the Thursday night game, watch Richmond Carlton, and
it was a draw.
Yeah, I reckon if I was a single man with no kids, I would have locked myself in a room and watched every game of footy. I was that keen. So instead, I watched 8 of the 9 games, not 9 of 9. So, but it was awesome to be back, as I said, and there was some quality football played, and it's great to see, St Kilda getting up. The Giant Adelaide game I thought was a cracker.
Yeah, it was belter.
Essendon Hawthorn, there were so many great results for big supporter bases out there, and that's what everyone wants as a football fan.
We've got Max Gawn in talking to us before the round every week, and I said to him, Collingwood will win by 6 goals against Geelong and win the flag.
What was his reaction?
He didn't like it.
No.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But I'm telling you.
He backed your prediction for the Geelong game.
Yeah.
He also
did.
thought you'd get
Because
up.
I've been in here a bit. I know there's the cameras on, so you can have a reaction. You don't necessarily say it. So I'd like to see his reaction before what he
Good
said.
call.
But
We'll get it for you.
yeah, I felt like in our game, we were doing a lot right early. Offensively, defensively, we were just pretty average in that first half. And once we tightened the screws in the second half, we were a lot better. And our offense for us was still really strong, but defensively, I think we kept them to 4 goals in the second half, no goals in the last quarter.
You
so
kicked
it
the
makes a
last
difference.
8 goals. I mean, the wheels have fallen off for them.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think our defence really tightened up in that first half. They were able to transition the ball way too easily for how we like to go about it. And then, Darcy Moore, Nathan Murphy, our high backs, we tightened, our positioning a lot better. And then, we're able to flow with the ball a lot better as well.
You stepped down as captain in the off-season, which was entirely your choice. And I saw the speech. I don't know how I saw it. It popped up somewhere online, and it was lovely. And everyone was very, happy for you that you'd made that decision. And then, of course, Darcy Moore stepped into that role. How did he go over the weekend?
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's been in the leadership group now for a couple of years. So, he's a great figurehead of the club now, and he speaks really well, handles himself really well. And
was it a hard decision for you to make?
Yes and no. I think I've had my time in the sun in that role. I've done, I think 9 or 10 years, and the stage of my life now, I've got kids at school, and I want to be able to there for drop off and pick up and
Because
things
it
like that when
sucks
I
up
can.
so much more of your time being the captain.
It does take up a lot of time, and I'm sort of getting to realise how much time I'm getting back for my family at the moment, and for me, and to worry a little bit more about myself. And I'm 35, and I'm trying to squeeze the lemon as much as I can to get as much out of myself as I can. I feel like it's a good time to hand over for Darcy, and then also I'm still there playing and being able to support Darcy.
We saw in Darcy Moore's first week as skipper the Jack Ginnivan incident unfolded, which you don't have to touch on, but were you relieved that you didn't have to front up for incidents like that? Is that part of the relief?
I must say, I was at breakfast, and Darcy called, and just sitting there.
So what do I do?
Yeah, just has a chat pretty much, and it's like, this has happened, and it was, for me, I was like, this is, I'm not having to go into all these meetings now. And of course, for Darcy, I said to him, I'm here if you ever need anything and support, ring me, whatever you need. And
But not at breakfast, mate. See you, buddy.
not at breakfast, and I'll catch you Monday. But just little moments like that where you realise you do get a bit of time back, and I don't have to. Sorry to Al and the kids. And
post game as
leave.
well.
Yeah.
Post game when you've got to do the presser with the coach, and you're not probably getting the recovery in
or
straight
even,
away.
Even after a loss, when none of the guys want to speak and they come up to you and like, no one wants to chat today. I'll go do it. And then you got to do it. So
It's a lot.
I've said to Darcy, I'll still help him out in all that sort of stuff. But I've enjoyed it, and I think Darcy's been great so far.
Excellent. Well, it was a great win against Geelong.
At halftime, when Geelong are 12 goals won, you were just talking before, do you feel stiff? Do you feel unlucky that they're so accurate? And do you feel like you're always going to get the momentum back in that second half?
Yeah, well, we're big on just playing the minutes, not playing the scoreboard. But the voices started going out there like, geez, they're not going to miss. And I remember saying to Crispy and Darcy Cameron at some stage, I said, they'll miss when we need them to. Like, they can't. It's just statistically not possible to keep kicking how they do. And if they do, we're going to get beaten by an outlier.
Yeah.
So if we keep doing what we do, I felt like we would eventually get them. Mind you, if they kept kicking how they were going to kick, they probably would have got us. But I think the weight of the game and how it was going, I think the result was fitting.
Because a lot of people, I heard some people over the weekend saying you you were winning close games last year, which kept you in the competition overall.
Yeah, I think the general theme that I've heard about us is that it's not possible to do it again, win that many close games. And I probably agree with that. It's not. But we don't want to be in a position where we have to win that many close games. I think we've got better to the point that we shouldn't be in those games. But if we are, we know what to do.
All right, well, let's come back and talk about North. We've hardly touched on that.
Scott Pendlebury with us this morning.
It's lovely to see you, Pendles. Thanks for coming in. Describe how sore you were. 1 out of 10. 10 out.
1 to 10.
1 to 10.
I've never been hit by a truck before.
Yeah, but
I
you were
felt
that sore.
like, yeah.
Because it's first game back.
Like I was struggling to sit down on the toilet. Like I had to,
you were that sore.
No.
like just corkies in your legs, and I made the silly error late in the game to try and do a spoil with about 30 seconds to go, and got a good corky in my hip, so that I paid for that for most of the weekend. But yeah, I was very sore the next day.
How did you feel through the game?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt
So
so,
pre-season
good, so fresh.
worked?
Yeah. Pre-season was good. I've been lucky enough through most of my career now to be able to get through all the pre-season.
How many
and
pre-seasons have you done?
18.
Oh,
gosh.
Jesus.
Yeah.
When you say it like that.
Yeah, and it's funny. Everyone says they get harder. I sort of feel like they get easier over time because you've just got a body of work behind you that you know what you've got to do and know how to manage yourself. And I can't train as hard as I did when I was, 22 to 28, 29, but I still know how to manage my way through.
Some great games of the round. None better than North beating West Coast. And didn't they come out of the blocks for 2.5 quarters?
Yeah, North were they were probably the North Melbourne game and the St Kilda game. That's when you go back to being a football fan. I just sort of wanted to see, and I know both the coaches would hate people saying this, but I wanted to see like what Clarko would put on it, and what Ross, their fingerprints, and what they would be. And to no one's surprise, defensively, they were so organised, they were so set. They looked so much more composed and in sync with each other, and both got the result, which isn't surprising. And it was great to see, packed stadiums and the North fans and the Saints fans up and about.
Well, and we were down a ruckman very early on.
Yeah.
Hugh Greenwood did amazing in the
He
ruck.
did
coming in.
really well.
Yeah, amazing. And his
Basketball background.
Yeah, it's because of his basketball background.
Yeah, so much time.
I'll be in the ruck.
You know what it's like. You know what it's like,
yeah,
Pendles. You got so much time with your basketball background.
So no, it was just great to see. Get thrown that, and then even West Coast come back really hard, and their senior players lifted, and then North hang on, and watching that last 10 minutes, I was sort of sitting there thinking, do North know how to win, or are they going to be nervous here? And I think it was a great result for North and their fans.
The Hawks looked pretty ordinary against the Bombers. Probably enough said about that one.
Draw on Thursday night. I'm not sure if we've asked you before. How do you feel about draws? Are you an extra time man, or did you think it's a nice quirk of the game?
I'd probably prefer a result. I'm not fussed either way, to be honest. But I'd prefer a result. I think it could be really exciting if it was just 5 minutes, next goal wins type of thing. Or I've heard the thing about like penalty shootout style. Like
I don't
5
think
each,
so.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
That's
but
not the sport.
yeah.
The sport
It's
is not
funny,
a penalty shootout.
We sort of live in a land of like we're really traditional when we want to be in football, and we're really progressive when we want to be as well.
Yeah.
And it's like the centre bounce. Why do we still bounce the ball at centre bounces?
I don't know.
There were some shocking bounces over the weekend.
Yeah, it's like, it's tradition. It's like, come on, we're
throw it
a
up.
progressive league. We're entertainment business.
Yeah.
Let's just throw
Or
it
just
up.
start the quarter with one, just for old time's sake.
Yeah, just throw it up.
Just throw it up, says Pendles. And whatever. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Because you're here. When you leave, I might have a separate opinion. That's another conversation. There was a few big bumps over the weekend. None bigger than Pickett, who was given 2 weeks. It looked to me as though his feet had left the ground, and he was almost horizontal.
Yeah, it was a huge hit. Even in the Adelaide game, there was a massive hit in that one
Yeah,
too.
McAdam.
Yeah,
He finds
McAdam.
out today.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
So Pickett got 2, Buddy got 1, and we don't know what the other bloke got
okay.
yet.
Yeah, ours isn't. Ours is all outcome based, which is,
So if he's 6 inches higher and clips
if he
Bailey
hits him
Smith,
in the face and knocks him out,
how
it goes
long's he
straight
getting
to
then?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think for years there's been the question around, are we going to punish the outcome or the action, and where do we live? And we still live in the outcome, punishing the outcome, which I think, rightly or wrongly, I don't agree with that. I think it should be the action that gets punished. That's they're not football actions.
Well, it's an intention, isn't it? When you launch yourself at someone like Pickett did.
Yeah, your intention is to hurt.
Absolutely, it is. It's to
And it's not
clean a
football-
bloke up.
It's not a football action, and I think, and I'm talking for everyone in the game here, not about those instances, but I think it's something that we need to get rid of out of our game. And but this chat's been going on for 5 or 6 years, and watching the NRL, if there's stuff like that happens, is they get sin bin plays, and I don't mind that for our game. Like say if Pickett was to get sin bin, so it's a complete disadvantage. Now you play 17 v 18
For 10 minutes.
for 10 minutes, 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and then you go to whatever. I think it's those non-football actions. I think we really need to treat seriously and get out of our game.
Yeah, because the Franklin one, you kind of go, I sort of get it. He had to brace himself. He probably didn't really need to do what he did, but it was sort of seemed a lot better than leaving your feet.
Yeah. Well, there's still that one that's really tricky is when you're sort of in that, contesting the ball and you've got your body over it and they lead with their head, but some of us older guys have got taught to lead with your sort of hip and shoulder because, that's how you protect yourself. So we're still trying to balance them out. And I think they're the ones that, 10 years ago, Buddy wouldn't even get looked at for that. Now that's a week because we're so keen to protect the head.
Yeah.
But I think we've got to take that approach to everything.
Well, and of course, Gary Ablett Senior's come out now. We don't know whether he's going to be the face of one of these class actions against the AFL around their concussion policy. But he's
I think there's a lot of players coming out now with some
about
issues.
100 of them, I believe.
Yeah, in that class action. And, I've heard a lot of talk about it, and that's why I think we need to treat it seriously now for what it is. And as I said, I'm not the first person to say it. There's many over 5, 6, 7 years of we need to treat this seriously. And, the MRO or whatever it's called these days need I don't know if it's a better system or a better way of looking at things to, make sure we stamp it out. And I don't know if we're getting it right at the moment.
How's your concussion history?
I've had one.
One.
So right at the end of a game, one. So I've been really fortunate in my career. But I think we're getting there. Guys that automatic week off, and most guys now take 2 weeks off because they're not cleared, and a lot of them don't even train for 2 weeks because we're treating it the way we should. So we're getting there, but I still think there's room to move.
Because where does it end up? I mean,
it ends up in where you hear past players having these stories about
it's
their
awful.
life, their quality of life, and
Terrible.
not being able to live a normal life. That's where it ends up. So we've got to look more than just, can he play next week, or it hurts the side or the balance. In 2 weeks' time, we need him back. We need this kid to have a normal life.
Yeah.
Did you see much of, slightly off topic, but still football, Harry Sheargold? Did you see much of him for North?
I did. I watched most of that game.
How good was he?
I just thought of Nick Dacos straight away.
Did you?
Young kid,
Similar poise.
running around the back line.
Just loved it, didn't he?
Yeah, getting given the ball.
Got 3 touches in about the first minute and a half.
He felt like he had 3 touches every 3 minutes.
He was a magnet.
Everywhere.
Who-
and just his ball use and his composure. He just looks so steady down there.
Who have you got next week?
Got Port on Saturday.
Yeah, Port on Saturday.
Did you see much of them? Because they were sharp.
I didn't see much of that game, but I obviously seen the scoreboard and they look so sharp. But I seen a bit of the highlights and they look so dynamic, so fit.
Yeah.
It's
In
gonna be
Adelaide
awesome.
or
Yeah,
here?
it was in Adelaide. Oh, we played them here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, so it's going to be a massive game, which is exciting.
Saturday day.
Saturday.
Yeah,
day.
1:45.
Saturday football.
1:45.
Is that your favourite?
That's prime time for me.
Yeah.
Bunnings trip
You can
first?
still
Yeah,
get
Bunnings
a
first.
sausage and bread,
Yeah,
still have a nap, and then you're on.
Exactly right. There we go. Don't forget.
Lovely to see you, mate. Have a lovely week.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.